Okay, so what you have before you here is a XC ready, somewhat ready, well, XC ready, 850 Renegade. And here you have a stock one. And you'll see as I go through some of these parts, what they're for, why you need it. So I'm going to give you a quick walk around of the Renegade, and then I'll kind of go into why you need it, what parts are best, I think, and then show you, contrast it versus what you have stock. Now, I can tell you that there's a lot of guys who are coming over from racing a a sport quad to a 4x4, and I see a lot of these dudes on YouTube because I watch a lot of YouTube because I enjoy the hobby, and these Renegades, even though if you ever looked, they say GNCC on them. They may say that, but these are not GNCC ready. Okay, these are for farting around on a trail. But I can tell you that if you're really fast on a sport quad, conversely, also if you don't know what you're doing, but you're overconfident, this is gonna hurt you. These shocks are not valved and sprang, but if you're, and there's always exceptions to the rule. There's always a guy like Kevin Cunningham or Landon Wolf or Trantham or some of these other guys, but I'm sure they could jump on a 570 and win the overall. But what I'm telling you, for guys like me, maybe you're a little bit older, don't trust these. So I guess the first thing you'll notice too is the difference in the tires. All right, so they come from the factory with the wide tires in the back and the skinnies up front. I don't know why they do that. I assume it was for when, I don't know if it's a cost thing or what, but I really wish they'd put the same size small tires on the front and back. The reason that you put the smaller tires on the front and back is so that the quad tracks right. I've seen other guys come up with their explanations as to why we do that. They're all wrong. It tracks better. It's easier to get the ASN to slide around, stuff like that. I prefer the 850. A lot of pros are switching to the 850. I've even seen some go to 570s. It's again, it's personal preference, but it doesn't rip your arm off. I use Sun F tires because they're cheap. I've written numerous tire companies for sponsorships, and I never get an answer back. So these work fine. I've used them everywhere. I like the Bighorn 2 tread pattern. This is what's going on this one. So I put my money where my mouth is, type of thing. So along with the tires, you're going to need tire protection. Now, I don't have an example of a tire protection, but there's three ways to protect your tires. There's balls, tire splines, and tire blocks. These have tire spines in them. Going to blocks only because the guy who had the company sold them, and it's just easier for me to get blocks. Your suspension, your springs, as you can see, mine say B&R Motorsports on them. Now, when I was on a Scrambler, I used Derisi. You can, Derisi and B&R are the two main guys that support the hobby. Most of the parts you'll see on my quad are either from B&R, Derisi, Texaerotech, and Checo. They're basically the ones who support the the hobby the most. The A-arms on my quad are Texeratech. Alright, also got the Texeratech A-arms. In 2020, I think they changed the A-arms. And I know that they changed them in 21. So they're a little bit stronger, but they're not going to survive a race. Moving on. Alright, let's go through the stuff that I get asked the most about. What do I take to the track? Okay. I have one of these little Craftsman expandable toolboxes. Alright. You get these at Home Depot. It has all my power tools in them and shit like that. And then I carry around one of these right here. They're, I don't know, like a toolbox full of these things. As you can see, I barely use them. Alright, and then I also take battery chargers with me because sometimes batteries will fail on the line or overnight, whatever. And then my gear, right? So I use O'Neill gear. And I use Leot protectives. Leot neck protector. I use EKS goggles because I feel like these are without a doubt the best goggles. They give you the best field of view. I use Leot boots, and I use Zaxpeed chest protector. I also want to annotate that, and I'm sorry if like the videoing is bad. I'm using a new camera. I use one of these hydro connected chest protectors. A couple of reasons. Number one is they don't slosh around. Number two is that there's been times where I've actually had to put like gear in there, and or my cell phone or stuff like that. Yeah, it's a little bit warmer in the hot months, but sometimes a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put a bunch of ice in my backpack. Actually keeps me cool for a little bit. This is a radiator guard for the Renegade. I don't have it installed on this one yet because I didn't know about it, so I'm passing on the knowledge to you. And then here's the outerwears radiator protector as well. So the outerwears keeps like all the mud and schmutz from getting into the radiator, and then this actually protects the radiator from getting like sticks and stuff like that in there. You're going to need flex bars, okay? These are flex bars, and what they do is, I don't know, is they flex here so you don't get as much arm pump. And then also, you're going to need a steering stem. Your steering stem is right here. This is a hollow piece of metal that will snap, and then the Checo one goes down into the center of it, and it also gives you the ability to move around your handlebars. So as you can see here are the stock handlebars, and here are the flex bars. Now the flex bars come in different configurations. I suggest come on, goddammit. I suggest that you, why is it doing that? Hold on. I suggest that you what the fuck? Now the flex bars come in different configurations. I suggest that you call Flex and you talk to them about what's right for you. They make them like quad high, quad low, yada yada. All right. From there, you're gonna need the twin air kit for the Renegade. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's like a better flowing filter. K&N has always helped me throughout the years, but they don't make anything for the Renegade. Next is the skid plate. This is by KMK Off-Road, but it's really Michael Seeger's. So if you want one of these, it's the best in the market. Hit up Michael Seeger's. It's it's cut so you can get to your drain plug, all that other kind of stuff. All right, so moving on to the Checo stuff. All right, so Checo bulldozer front bumper. You're gonna need one of those. I've slammed in a whole bunch of stuff, pushed guys. It's never let me down. Everything Checo makes is high quality. Guy knows how to weld. He's also a hell of a guy too. B&R tie rods. You can see them. If you don't know what a tie rod is, that's it right there. This long, right here. That's a tie rod. The stock tie rods will snap. Of course, there's like a World War II dogfight going on as I'm trying to do this. This is a rear intrusion bar for the Renegade. I don't have it installed yet because I got sick before I could install it. But here's one that's not powdered, right? And then, as you can see on the stock Renegade, what you get isn't going to do you much good, because as you can see right there, that radiator is completely unprotected. So not only does it get full of schmutz and sticks go through there, there isn't much protecting the rest of your quad. So you want to go with the Checo. I don't trust anybody else except Checo, because I have never used anybody else besides Checo, and his stuff works. And again, hell of a guy. Here's the rear intrusion bar. Essentially what that does is it goes back here, okay, and it protects your exhaust and your shocks and your voltage regulator from getting messed up. So I can tell you firsthand, I had a little prick, spoiled little piece of shit run into me and messed my stuff up. So kid was 16 years old. Was really, what am I going to do? I'm 43 and I'm twice the size. And his dad was a shrimp too. So the other thing on Renegades, anything that's, I think, 19, 18, I can't remember. It might be 18. But anyway, if you have an earlier version of a Renegade, you need these trailing arms. The other trailing arms snap. The ones that have kind of like looks like kind of a wishbone. Moving on, right here is the Checo. I don't know what you would call these. Plastic supports, so if you look, once you take your, well, actually it has nothing to do with the, so all right, so here's a stock Renegade, and let me see if I can see how these flap. All right, and then when you take the taillight out, they flap even more. I mean, even traveling down the highway, if I have it in the bed of my truck, they'll flap. And then what happens is mud gets built up onto here, and then they crack. So these right here go under the plastics, and they prevent your plastics from flapping. It doesn't sound like it's something that you'll need, but it's something that you definitely need in a mud race, especially if you go mudding a lot. Next up is the water pump guard. All right, so what that does is, as you can see right here, that water pump hose and water pump neck is unprotected. It's probably a better angle from here. Okay, so that water pump hose and water pump neck will actually get smashed while you're going hardcore in a race. So you want to protect that. One of the other things you want to do too is you want to take out your headlights and your taillights when you're going a race. I know I'm forgetting stuff, but this is basically the basics. You can see the difference between the two bikes. Oh, so one of the other things too that I fought, but now I'm at the point where I'm getting faster, is you're eventually. Oh, and if you want some of the Checo stuff unpowdered, this is what it looks like. I mean, look at those welds. And the guy does a good job. You're going to need a seat cover. Now, I didn't need one for years because I was slow. And I wasn't really doing much as far as moving around my body around the bike. But, you know, the faster as you get, the more stuff you're going to break, the more stuff you're going to need. Why did I switch from a Renegade to a Polaris? Excuse me, from a Polaris to a Renegade. Well, number one is they're cheaper. Number two is I have never had this one let me down. I've never had it really break anything. Just, you know, if you keep up with the maintenance, they're faster. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the internet says. I don't care how many guys jump on here and tell me that a 1000 cc Polaris is faster than a Renegade. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. They're not. I can tell you that my 850 keeps up with 1000s just fine. Now, that has a lot to do with clutching, so let me also talk about this. Pardon me while I move things around. All right, so right here, this is a clutch spring. Okay, now guys will go out and they'll spend umpteen thousands of dollars on a fancy clutch. The problem is that you never really know what you need. I found a clutch spring that works just fine for me and works great. I use ODI grips as well. I feel like I'm forgetting something. The other thing, in XC Racing, we start with a dead start. What you're going to need for that is a 24 volt system. You get it from B&R. And then if you have a 24 volt system, you're also going to need a charger. And then if you want to tune your stuff, you're going to need the HB Tuners MPVI2. So, and then here's my GoPros. And I was going to talk about my GoPros a little bit, but I think I'm going to just make a separate video for that. Anyway, if you're interested in the GoPro stuff, basically the short version is don't buy the 7. Every other one from the 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10 are good. Anyway, my 850 has kept up with 1000 cc Polaris's. My Polaris is breaking all the time. They're just not competitive, and they cost twice as much. I have also, if you Google the same parts, the Renegades are cheaper. The Polaris is a little bit nicer in the sand. I will always say that. If you're in a sand track, the Polaris is very nice to have, mostly because, these aren't as plush as a ride, but you can get them real close. So anyway, I just thought I'd go through, these are some of my sponsors' parts. And like I said, if you stick to Texera Tech, Checo, B&R, and I guess Derisi, you'll be fine. The itsy bitsy stuff that you need, like Seeger's skid plate and the fast flex bars, that stuff's kind of few and far between. But also you can talk to Rick, or you can contact me if I'm forgetting something. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But again, with the Renegade, it's so few things versus the Polaris. It's kind of, also like this thing is like twice as easy to clean. Those floorboards come right off, the plastics come right off. So, of course, my phone's ringing. So, anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was somewhat helpful. Thanks.